Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Bears Course Studio. Welcome to the show. So, actually I didn't think I'd be recording another episode today, but a really interesting piece of news came out, so I decided, you know what? Okay, let's just jump in front of the camera one more time and ignore all the other things I gotta do for right now, and let's talk about a piece of news that Wizards just dropped in their weekly MTG stream. Now, I will try and remember. Future Mitch, when you're editing, please remember to put the stream link in here, as well as the tweet that you're going to be showing off as well. Now let's jump into it. So, I watched a little bit of that MTG weekly stream, and yeah, some pretty big news came out about Standard. Talked about a little while ago how they made a massive change to, well, the Standard format, and then now it's going to be a 3-year rotation because, well, they're trying to, you know, reinvigorate, let's say, Tabletop Standard. MTG Arena Standard's apparently doing well. Tabletop Standard, not so much. Over the past couple of years, it's been going down. Other formats like, you know, well, Commander, obviously, but even Pioneer and Modern have been going up because, you know what? They don't rotate. That being said, well, now they're trying to make even more changes. They did say that there were going to be other changes. That was just the first of the major changes. Now we're starting to see other, you know, changes coming apparently. And this big change is now, hey, the ban window is massively changing. So Hipsters of the Coast tweeted out earlier, and if you haven't followed at HipstersMTG, it's a fantastic resource, especially for new news. On Weekly MTG, Wizards says they will have a yearly ban event for Standard every fall when the new fall set comes out and rotation occurs, #MTG. There will also be extremely rare mini ban windows 3 weeks after a new set is released. Now, this is a pretty massive change, and I watched a bit of the Weekly MTG stream when they were talking about these kinds of things, and essentially, they want these ban windows to be a bit more predictable for players. So if players are, again, investing in a deck, they aren't just, you know, the rug isn't just pulled out from underneath them, like kind of out of nowhere. I mean, I guess those mini ban windows are still going to occur, but it's more so going to be, you know, just the bans are going to be once a year, apparently in the fall when the rotation is occurring. So, yeah, players can essentially be more, I guess, assured that if they buy a deck in Standard, even though it is a rotating format, they aren't just going to lose immediate value on the deck when a card, you know, a very important card in that deck is banned, and all of a sudden, all that money they spent on their deck is now useless. I mean, I don't know about you, but being a Commander player, I very much like playing Commander because, well, again, I can play with all my cards all the time. I built, you know, my Feldergriff deck years and years ago. I can still use it. I didn't have to take it apart. So, I used to play, you know, formats like Standard and Modern a little bit, but again, I was very excited, you know, for, oh, this deck, like I had like my Boggles, like Hexproof Blade Cover Scout deck back in Theros, and I absolutely love that deck. And then it rotated, and it's like, okay, well now what am I supposed to do? I don't have any Hexproof creatures anymore, I can't Boggles. And also, you know, there are bans that happen, you know, left and right, and all of a sudden, especially over the past couple years, the bans left and right, all of a sudden, you know, again, you spent money on a deck and you can't play that anymore. So again, they're trying to, you know, fix a little bit of the rotation by making a 3-year rotation. And now apparently they're trying another aspect of it again, the ban aspect, and saying that they can be more predictable now. The bans are going to be less frequent. They do have like an emergency panic button if after a new set, you know, came out 3 weeks after that new set's released, if something is incredibly problematic. I think the example that they gave was Felder Guardian, essentially, that, you know, combo essentially. So if something like that happens, sure, Felder Guardian, Saheeli, they can ban a piece if they absolutely need to, or, you know, Oko, which was a big no-no. So they can do that. Now, Hipsters of the Coast also tweeted out, I just want to make sure we get the full story on this. Merger problems can be addressed in the mini ban windows. Past examples include, oh, there you go, Oko and Felder Guardian. But most bans should happen in the fall. So again, that's just kind of a last, you know, oh no, this is really bad, we need to fix this right away, panic button for those mini ban windows. Other than that, the ban should only be happening once a year. So hopefully this gives players a bit more confidence. That being said, obviously there's some downsides potentially that we'll talk about here in a second. There's a standard BNR update coming on 5/29, #MTG. I would expect this to address Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So, yeah, apparently this isn't changed just yet. This change is going to be implemented after that, I would assume, into the fall format. And then also clarification, the yearly fall ban announcement can impact all formats, not just standard, #MTG. The mini ban windows are more likely to be used for non-standard formats. that isn't going to be talking about Commander, because Commander's ban list is not handled by Wizards proper. It is handled by the Rules Committee, which is somewhat separate of Wizards. And then Wilds of Eldraine was not designed with the new 3-year rotation in mind. The upcoming 529 BNR announcement is at least partially intended to help the new Eldraine cards shine, #MTG. So again, some small changes coming in the future with potential bans. But yeah, pretty interesting that Wizards, again, is making these pretty massive changes. Again, Standard used to be the standard format. It used to be like the gold standard, I guess I should say. In Players, that used to be what you just played. And then other formats kind of came in. I mean, we had Modern come in, we had Commander come in, we had, we had Pioneer come in, and yeah, other formats just have been getting more and more steam over the years. And again, the main thing that those formats share is that they have, well, bigger card lists, and also they have a non-rotating format, and the bans are a bit more predictable for the most part for those formats. I mean, Commander rarely has cards banned, and again, there's a reason why it's popular, because you can play with your cards, and you're not just losing immediate value in your cards. If you buy a deck 3 years ago, you can still play with it now. So that's something that Wizards talked about on the stream, or those from Wizards talked about on the stream, about how they want players to be able to, take the exact same deck to F&M multiple times, essentially, and not have to worry about changing up the sideboard with brand new cards, or something got banned and change that out, or, those kinds of things. So we shall see how much, these changes start making an impact. We shall see if, Standard Tabletop is revitalized and more players go play it. I know that, some players have commented below, they're a lot more interested in Standard now because of these changes so far, that even just with that 3-year rotation change. So we'll see if the ban change makes any kind of an update on this as well. And also keep in mind, like, hey, we don't really know exactly how this is going to impact things, because they very well might try to push things a bit too far in certain sets and have to ban like 5 cards right away in that 3-week window. So we'll see if they can kind of, get those designs kind of in line with making things powerful enough but not bannable, and making sure that they can hit their mark. The very, very real fear for some Standard players out there, though, is that kind of with this new ban adjustment, is that things might get a little stale, because again, well, you are making the format less rotating. You are also making it so that you're not able to respond as quickly. Potentially, again, you can respond very quickly with a ban if you need to with those first 3-week window. But if you happen to miss something, if say a deck, gets popular after that, that is problematic, are you then going to kind of break your own new rule and emergency ban something? Or are you going to have to wait for that next, window, which would apparently be, in the fall. So if you're in the spring, it might be problematic. So yeah, we shall see really how that works. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this, though. I think it's pretty interesting that Wizards is trying to revitalize Standard. I do think a healthy Standard is a good thing for basically all of Magic. So I'm not, I'm not upset that they're making these kinds of changes. If they're trying to improve Standard, I think that can only be a good thing. Getting more players, maybe from Magic Arena to start playing Tabletop. Maybe then they see other Commander players too. Maybe it can just be another way to kind of funnel players, from one format to another, and just, enjoy the breadth of Magic. So yeah, definitely an interesting one. We'll see how this impacts things, and we'll also see what other changes they might be making to Tabletop Standard in the future as well. Because, yeah, they did say a good amount of changes, some massive impact changes. We've seen 2 so far with, the the further rotation adjustment to 3 years, and now the ban adjustment, which is pretty massive as well. So yeah, let me in the comments below what your thoughts are on this. Are you any more interested in playing Standard if you don't currently? Do you currently play Standard, and what are your thoughts on these changes? So yeah, let me know in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.